Hi, everybody. I'm going to talk today about the story of the vagus nerve. And I'm going to talk about it through story because we are wired for story. We're not wired for facts. I know I just moved my desk and I know for those of you that are watching this on YouTube, I have a lot of reflection in my glasses. So I'm going to take them off and see if I can talk without my thinking glasses on. The neuroscience shows that we are wired for story. We're not wired for facts. And we all have an attachment to our stories. And mythologies that have been around for thousands and thousands of years really offer us clues not only to the science of the cosmos, but the science of our bodies and how we embody stress and story. And these stories are really important because they are also the doorway to our destiny. They're the doorway to healing ourselves. They're the doorway to finding our voices, and they're the doorway to creating the impact in the world that we came here to do, serving our highest purpose. And the vagus nerve goes all the way from our brainstem down to our pelvis. And we embody stress and trauma on the horizontal. Nobody gets stressed or traumatized and has really great arm swing when they walk. And the research shows this: trauma always affects the voice and the breath. And our vocal cords and diaphragms are horizontally oriented in our bodies. And so when your vocal cords and your diaphragm and other horizontal structures get locked up due to trauma and stress, we stop rotating, and we stop rotating in sync with the cosmos. And quite literally, this contributes to mental health issues. As a physical therapist and with a lot of credentials and a lot of conventional skills, I really understand how we embody stress and story and how to measure that in the body through range of motion, through movement patterns, through strength, and also through heart rate variability, which is the gold standard measure of the vagus nerve. But first, before I go into more podcasts and more videos, more episodes about the amazing things the vagus nerve does for us, I want to start with story. In the Egyptian myth of Isis and Osiris, Osiris was the king of Egypt. His wife was Isis, and his brother Set was jealous and angry and wanted to be king. And so Set tricked Osiris into laying down in a bejeweled coffin, had his soldiers close the lid, nail it shut, and carry him to the Nile River to send him downstream to his death. When Isis found out about this, she went on a very long journey to retrieve Osiris's body, bring him back to a cave, breathe new life into him. When Set found out about this, he was furious, and he tracked down Osiris, chopped his body into pieces, and scattered those pieces down the Nile River. Isis, ever the healer, went and found all of his pieces, brought him back to the cave, put him back together long enough to conceive their divine child, Horus. And then Osiris went on to be king of the underworld, which for the Egyptians was where all life came from and all treasures were found. When I imagine being in that story, I imagine most everybody thought Osiris's destiny was to be the king of Egypt. But his true destiny was to be the king of the underworld. And he literally had to come apart to come back together in a new way. We use dismemberment metaphors in our language all the time. We say we're falling apart, we can't get it together, our hearts are broken, our lives are shattered, our voices crack when we get up to speak in front of others, or when we say our truth. And that's really the gift in trauma. It's your taskmaster, like Seth, that keeps you on your life path. And your trauma is the doorway to your destiny. And when you find the opportunity, the meaning in that, your life is endlessly transformed, endlessly abundant, endlessly rich, and amazingly powerful. And it's not easy to get there. My childhood trauma is all about lost voice. And it took me a long time to see the doorway in it, even when the irony wasn't lost on me that here I am specializing in the nerve that innervates the vocal cords for so many years. And so the story of Isis and Osiris was really a scientific story. It's the story of how the stars move. It's the story of how they communicated the science in ancient times. We just write scientifically in a different way now. But it's also the story of our bodies and how our bodies move through life. It's the story of our internal workings. And it's the story of opportunity. And so, what is the doorway to your destiny? How are you going to get to be the king or queen, ruler of your underworld, where all the treasures are found?